In this episode of Fearless Motorcycling with Lori, we continue our focus on real-world moves, the real-world applications of the skills we build during our practice sessions. Before most of the exercises, we'll play a short video explaining what we're doing and why, and also showing the real-world application of why these skills are important. We hope it's helpful and hope it increases your understanding of these practices and why we do them.
Good, nice and easy on that rear brake. Start turning. Head and eyes, head and eyes. There we go. That's right, just don't put a foot down. That's all I care about.
We're at practice session 75 today, and we're going to have a friend that we met a couple years ago. We literally posted on a group page in Facebook saying we want to go to North Carolina and ride and share an Airbnb with some other couple riders. And so it didn't matter whether the woman rode or she rode on the back. It was just, couple riders. And if anybody wanted to share an Airbnb with us. And this couple reached out and said, sure, we'll meet you. We've got a friend also with his girlfriend, and we'll meet you in North Carolina. And so we spent 3 days with this couple and their friends and had a great time. And it turns out that they're from Indiana, but they also summer in Florida, right here in Sebastian and Fort Pierce and this area. So we became friends and we've stayed in touch the whole time. And we went on a ride yesterday with just one of the couples, and we had a great time. And he's going to come to practice today, so that's going to be fun. He's a really cool guy. He loves motorcycles. He's been riding forever. He's really a good rider, and his bikes are awesome. He's one of those people that can tear his whole bike down, take it all apart, put it all back together again, and so he was giving me some advice yesterday on my riding, which said I wasn't winding the clutch out far enough before I shift. So I'm trying to do that a little bit better when I shift. So I'm getting the RPMs up, over 4,000 before I shift from first gear to second gear. He goes all the way to 5,000 or 6,000 RPM. So says it seals the gaskets and all of that better, and the bike can take it. So we'll see. Maybe that's my problem with my motorcycle. Who knows? The Harley dealership doesn't tell me to do that. So I always have shifted my bike at about 3,200, 3,500 and into the next gear. And then I run my bike between 2,500 and 3,000 RPMs typically. So if we're just cruising along, my RPMs are between 2,500 and 3,000. And then if we're gonna go, stay at this higher pace, I'll get the RPMs up, and then I shift into the next gear so that the bike is running at 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs. I don't know. I know nothing about motorcycles. I just do what people tell me to do. And I like to ride, and I like to practice so that I can handle my bike. So if you have any insights onto how that all is supposed to work, let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to get started on practice. So this is our friend Paul. We met him because we kind of advertised on Facebook that we were going to North Carolina, and we rented an Airbnb, and we wanted to find some fun people who liked to ride. And he responded with his wife and some other friends, and we rented a cabin in North Carolina and rode around for a few days and had a great time. And it turns out that he and his wife camp down here in Sebastian, and they're in Fort Pierce now, but like in this area. So it turned out we stayed in touch with each other a couple years now, and he's here at practice, which is so fun. We went for a ride yesterday, and then he said he wanted to come to practice. So, I don't know.
How long have you been riding a motorcycle?
How long have you been riding a motorcycle?
Since, I don't know, maybe when I was 12.
12?
So
And And have you practiced slow speed riding?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, not too much, but
Yeah. That it'll
more high
come
speed.
out. Yeah. It'll come out like as you do these exercises how much slow is slow.
yeah, yeah.
And then but you've got good clutch control. So what else is there to ask? What kind of bike do you have? Fancy.
2024 Ultra Limited, last year for him.
This is some kind of limited edition, right? It's
Yeah.
a rock and roll theme or something you said?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like a guitar.
yeah, it's got the album thing there, guitar pick up here.
That's awesome. Beautiful.
It's pretty dirty right now, but
Yeah. 250 miles yesterday or so.
yeah.
Well, cool. All right.
Awesome. So
Cool.
we're gonna get started.
Thanks, Paul.
So we're on exercise 1. Smooth starts and smooth stops.
See how the RPMs never really came down that time when she stopped. And that's okay. The RPMs are just up a little bit.
That was a
Anyone
better
who's-
stop.
Concerned about the RPMs are too high. That's not the case. Everything's smooth, it's small movements. Right? Beautiful. See how that works? See, Jeff's got the straight. See, Jeff practices a lot, so he's got the straight. The RPMs look good, clutch work looks good. And he's letting the rear brake win at the end, which is just what you want to happen here. Real critical point here is he wants to not let the rear brake win when he's doing figure eights or U-turns, right? So he's got to come off of that rear brake a little bit because he's hitting it so hard it drops him. Nice little warm up. So Rich coming off the gas a little bit, which is fine. You can see how he does that. But he's still doing a nice smooth stop. Rear brake wins.
Just remind him now of everything.
Yep. So the practice is, the drill is, RPM's up a little bit, 1800, 2000, and you're just working that clutch in, right? And it brings a nice smooth takeoff, nice smooth rear brake stop here. Oh, look at that, yeah, he's got it. Yeah,
He's dragging his foot.
yeah, I see it. Just pumping him up a little bit.
All right. Yep.
Good, looks good. Yep, good. A little awkward, right? Nice, yep. Oh, he's gonna get it, he's gonna get it. Nice and easy, yep. Okay, good job. Good job, Paul.
Exercise 1.
Smooth stops and starts. It's gentle, everything's small movements, heel, toe, foot down. Never dragging our foot. Just heel, toe, and as soon as the bike starts moving, you pick your foot up. There's nothing our foot's gonna do to help us once the bike starts moving.
Those circumstances, that's a problem. You need to work on it, right? Straight up and down. That's what we're going to do. The rules don't change.
So this is exercise 2. No rear brake, slow ride.
The slow ride. So we're looking for clutch work here. Like she's got it pulled in because it's kind of a downhill, but watch as
I don't have to use much clutch at all.
as we're moving up the hill, see it comes out a little bit. A little bit of power, but she's still got some RPMs. Hard to hear with this bike, but the power's always there when she needs it. Slow ride, no brake. Nice takeoff there.
No,
Just got to correct a little bit.
At all. No brakes at all. Except at the end. When you get to the end, you press the rear brake for a slow stop.
All right, a little fast, but good. We have to be real comfortable going real slow. So watch the difference now. Look how slow Rich is going. Oh, he's on his rear brake, that's right. No rear brake. Wow, that's awesome. Look at how slow. So you can hear the bike is not revving up. He's just got enough power to keep him going when he needs it as he lets that clutch out. Nice job.
Start with the...
Nice, yep, exactly. So just about as slow as you can go, no rear brake. Yeah, good. So he's blipping it a little bit, that's okay. So clutch out. See that clutch hand moving? He's a natural. Now smooth stop, Paul. Nice smooth stop. Rear brake stop, yep. Nice, looks good. Rough stop. So just into the clutch, into the friction zone a little bit. RPMs are always there. Nice smooth stop. Geez, nothing about that was smooth.
Okay, trust and believe. Make sure you're in first gear. Cover the rear brake. Throttle up. Find your friction point.
Foot up. Good, good, look good. You were not moving, that looked good. All right, you got the drill, right? Nod with your head when you're ready. Foot up. There it is. That was really good.
Smooth stop. There you go.
That was really good.
Awesome, Jeff.
Rolling a little bit. Rolling.
Foot up. Okay, this one is that trust and believe I was telling you about. So first gear, cover the rear brake, bring the throttle up, leave it there. Eyes straight ahead. Find where your friction point is, like right before that, so your tire's not moving at all. When I say foot up, you put your foot on the board. As you feel the bike tip, let the clutch out and then a smooth stop. Look ahead. Look ahead. Okay, foot up. Yeah.
First gear.
First gear.
Rear brake. Throttle's up.
This exercise is still done at 1 to 2 miles an hour, just like the slow ride. It's also done straight up. So we're not leaning in this exercise at all. The reason that we want to be able to do a right or a left turn straight up on our bike at slow speeds is because sometimes we're on gravel or we're on dirt or we're on something unsteady for our motorcycle, and we don't want that front wheel to slip out. So any kind of lean on a turn is gonna dump you over if you're on an unstable foundation.
This is just left and right turns. So the idea, like the thinking with the practice and the progression of the exercises is, for exercise 2, we're using what we learned in exercise 1, etc. Right? So here it's the same idea. Like we got some RPMs. You know, it's called preload and keep it loaded. A little rear brake drag and that friction point thing. So we're just doing a nice. You'll be able to do it no problem. But I'm just telling you what the teaching is for the lesson, right? Not like you've never done it.
You can watch up there with him too.
Whatever you want. Yeah. So it's just that it's like the same thing except we're turning the handlebars. And typically what happens, almost always, is when people get to that turn part, they either pull the clutch or they let off the gas. Now you're stuck with your wheel turned. That's not where you want to be, right? Because then it gets real tippy. Yeah, and you'll tip over, right? So the whole idea with this kind of stuff is not momentum. It's more like power to the rear wheel, keep the bike full of power, right?
Let the bike drive.
Right, let the bike pull you, yeah, exactly.
So come up to the cone so you can see.
Yeah. You want to watch your brake? I think he'll be able to do it no problem. I got it.
So as usual, some good dialogue, some good narrative as we're participating on our microphones during the practice. But at this point, I thought I would throw in some voiceover as we get into the left turns, the left and right turns. There's tons of chatter continuing as we continue to try to explain this thing to Paul, which he got, you know, quickly and easily. Probably the best first-time participant we've ever seen. It was remarkable, his clutch control. Really, really good. I thought I'd throw in some real-world moves as we see up top here just quickly. This was an access to a ferry, a left turn on the dirt. See how we're having to take that left on the dirt, real soft, and downhill. So no place for front brakes, no place for leaning or throttle. It's stay on top of the bike just like we practice. So it's a really good illustration of why we practice these turns in this way. So just like the opening, we're really working on imagining that we're on a soft gravel, some kind of unstable surface. So we want to keep our body straight up and down, and the motorcycle straight up and down. So it just takes a little bit of counter sitting, a little bit of rear drag on the rear brake, clutch in the friction point, turning those handlebars over, and again properly positioning our body so that we are straight up and down. So if we're inside the seat, as we start to make this turn, it's going to want to pull that bike down as we turn the handlebars, right? So we want to get a little counter sitting. Here's Paul in his first time through, a little bit fast, but just remarkable. Beautiful bike too. A 2024 Electric Glide, the last year they made them. Sadly. They go from making street glides out of Ultra Classics, Electric Glide Ultra Classics, and then now they are making Ultra Classics out of street glides, essentially. Weird.
First time doing it was amazing. Yeah, you're gonna kill it.
Lori on her Police Road King really has these things dialed in, so we're working on up leveling at all times possible. Will in his adventure bike. He hops on Lori's Road King a few times, I believe. Much more of a challenge for him to do these exercises on his Road King, her Road King. Here's Paul, got it slowed down, head and eyes.
Yeah, nice. Clutch out, clutch out. Yeah, really good. I mean, yeah,
Really good.
That was amazing.
Paul asserted that he had
For never doing it ever.
the most radical cam you could put in a motorcycle on that bike. The most loping cam. So he had it in his head. I'm not saying he's wrong, but that he could not hold the throttle steady. So that's why we hear a lot of throttle blipping from Paul as he's going through these exercises during this practice session. As he, those of you who know what a cam does, it creates this uneven loping idle, so it doesn't idle smoothly. Whatever, he still did great, and it worked. Bike worked great for him. So you see Lori head and eyes over. Got to get those handlebars turned. Handlebars turned. There you go. Straight down the middle. Rich, good. Head and eyes over. Straight down the middle. No problem for young Will with this little adventure bike. But again, as I say every time, I think it's real cool that he shows up and works out the fundamentals. Look at that. Perfect right down the middle. That's clutch control right there. I mean, he barely uses brake.
You don't want to lean the bike at all, because we're imagining that we're on dirt or an unstable surface, and we can't lean it. Now, I've leaned my bike on unstable surfaces and dumped it, and I'm sure you have too. So that's what this exercise is going to help you with. It's also going to help you with one of the most common occurrences of an accident, which is turning wide on the right-hand turn. So you take a right-hand turn at an intersection and you go wide on it. What happens is you're in the lane of the oncoming traffic when you do that. And that's where a lot of times you're not looking, first where you go. So there could be a car approaching as you're making that turn. And by the time you look, you're right in front of that car. And that's one of those situations where, wouldn't it be great if I had some options, right? Wouldn't it be great if I could do a right-hand turn, 90 degrees, straight up, looking where I'm going first, and not go into an oncoming car?
Straight up.
So same thing, but a right turn. So friction braking up, nice and slow approach.
Head and eyes has to come over better. Nice looking turn.
So
Head and eyes
personally,
needs to
I'm working
improve.
on just head and shoulders over,
Shocker there.
not my whole butt over, which is, it's okay to do.
Yeah, she does a nice job with that.
Head and shoulders over.
I tried to accentuate how high I kept my RPMs on that turn.
Rich with a little more speed, moving it up. It's just the practice necessary to manage the bike at slow speeds. We regularly get questions about why we do this, as we heard
That looked good. That looked really good.
clips from Robert's talks up in Pooler. He gets it too. When will I ever have to do this? When will I ever have to use any of this stuff? I'm telling you, we use this particular practice constantly. Just about every day we ride.
See how he's good?
Paul's got the lefts down, beautifully slow.
It must seem amazing
The name
to
of
do
this
that.
whole game is slow. We want to get slow as possible. A lot of people come and practice with us and they think they're going slow. Not a complaint, or it doesn't make anybody dumb or anything like that, but it's a redefinition of what riding at a slow speed is for most people. For most people, when you go faster, the bike needs you less. You have to do less to keep the bike upright and on two wheels. When you go slower, it takes a lot more. It takes a lot more inputs to keep that bike upright. So Jeff is continuing to struggle with turning those handlebars. I will say that recently, just today, in fact, he had some pretty big breakthroughs here. So it's been a long road, but my man is working hard at it.
That's unbelievable. I'm not seeing anyone, I don't care what their level of riding experience is, do these that well so fast.
So counter sitting a little forward and to the left. And in the world, head and eyes needs to be there to make sure that we have a clear pathway. Head and eyes, then handlebars, as we always say.
I don't think it's so much I'm just making this up, but I don't think it's so much the bike with Jeff. It's just the belief that it can happen, that he can do it. So shit, if he was riding Will's bike, I think it would be good, something good.
Here's Jeff. Can he get his handlebars turned, head and eyes, handlebars, bucking it a little bit.
There it is.
That hopping up and down, if you notice that's his rear brake. He's off his front brake. That's great, but he's pushing that rear brake a little too hard, and that's actually stopping him, which is why he falls over a lot. Is his rear brake's too hot, too hard on it. Look, Paul is just creeping, really, really great.
That's unbelievable.
Outstanding.
I didn't think he'd be that good. I thought he would be excellent at the U-turns and the speed stuff, like everybody, right?
Paul was an avid dirt bike rider growing up, as was Rich. Those guys are skilled. Dirt bike riders are just have more practice at dexterity, clutch control, moving the bike, making the bike do what you want it to do. Lori's starting from a forward position. Always a level up. Rich was a little far forward. Rich is scheduled to participate in the Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle session, as is Jeff, on March 1st, Saturday, March 1st. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, did it. So we got this lady here fucking our U-turns up.
Oh. Well, she'll be out of here. She's doing mosquito or something.
Right, but where is she?
Probably doing the Bank of America building.
Wow, really great.
Start wide and stay wide. Start wide and stay wide. So you're rocking the bike underneath you. You got your head and eyes straight, head forward. And you're really transitioning the handlebars. And you're going right, left, right, left, right. You're turning the handlebars. And you're leaning the bike a little bit. So as you get better at that, you can start introducing more clutch control, which would mean that you're not going to use your rear brake. So you don't use your rear brake, it'll make you go faster, right? So that forces you to keep your clutch control under control.
So you see how this is the beginning for newer riders, right? They get used to the leaning, which you excel at, right? So it's really just that smooth motion of handlebars, 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 like eyes straight. So Jeff is, as you can see, Jeff is really struggling.
I just want to make sure that people are getting the start wide and stay wide. The reason for that is, as Robert's always teaching, holding buys you space and time. Holding your turns buys you space and time. So look at the space that Lori has between her right and left turns. It's space and time, holding that turn. So what this is teaching us is the transitions from left to right, certainly obstacle avoidance, certainly dexterity on clutch and brake. So it's not a matter of not hitting the cones, right? We're not just trying to wiggle around the cones. We're trying to really practice that. So we're getting that bike down, left and right, throwing it to the left and to the right, really getting used to being in command of the bike, being the boss of the motorcycle, right? So I'm always curious when we get to this point is better understanding of the viewer and what are you guys doing to practice obstacle avoidance. We got to understand that we don't want to be that head to layer down.
Well, he hit his bike, and I had to lay it down.
So somebody hits their brakes. There's an obstacle in the road. There's an animal that runs out in front of you, and I had to layer down. I'm not saying that practicing these exercises keeps us from any danger, but what are you doing? What are we all doing to help increase our options so we don't have to just say there was nothing I could do? Something happened. There was nothing I could do. I had to layer down. So we saw Paul there working through. Now Paul's here's the interesting thing. Paul is an exceptionally good cornering rider, if you will. We rode the tail of the dragon with him. Unbelievable. That guy can lean that motorcycle, and any motorcycle, very, very well. Better than most, I would say. At speed. I can't stress that enough. At speed. Now look at how Paul's doing it with no speed. He doesn't know what to do, right? He's doing it. He's going around the cones, but he's not able to do the exercise as he needs to do it because he's never done it before. It doesn't make him anything less than awesome. It's just look at Lori do it. Lefts and rights, start wide, stay wide, moving it. If Paul tried this one more time, I'm sure he would get it. But I think that's a really good example of why these practices are necessary and really helpful to a seasoned rider. Well, certainly to a new rider, but even to a seasoned rider. Look at how he goes through this. Now, if he just got it in his head that he could flick the bike right and left and move his handlebars quickly right and left, he could do it. See, but now he's just steering and he's using superior clutch control to make that happen. I think that's such an interesting point. So Jeff, again, doing every other cone. I'm telling you, just in the last 2 days, Jeff has had breakthroughs. He's now able to do single serpentine on through every cone with dipping the bike, keeping his head nice straight, doing everything he's supposed to do. So practice, practice, practice. Yep, see the difference. He's doing it. He's doing it. Here's Jeff, who looks surprisingly similar. Just close to the cone, really close to the cones. Just trying to steer around him. And then here's Lori. Like, see it? Transition. 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 Head nice straight. Transition. Really good. Exercise 5, y'all. Single serpentine. Really, really, really good exercise.
I love U-turns. I think it's so fun to have an opportunity on the road when we're on a trip to do a U-turn. We would come up and the GPS would take us down this road and all of a sudden it would turn to gravel. And so we're not going to ride our bikes for miles on end in the gravel. So we would have to do a U-turn. And there's lots of different times you have to do a U-turn. The roads could be narrow, or they could be like, a divided 2-lane road where there's plenty of room. So the typical road that you want to turn on is about 24 feet. It's like if you can take your bike and you can turn it around inside of 24 feet, you can probably pretty much handle any road that you're going to come across. Our road on our street is exactly 18 feet wide, which is where these green markers are. So end to end with our red markers here is 27 feet. So if you can do a U-turn inside of these markers, you can pretty much do a solid U-turn anywhere you go on a bike, which is a good skill to have. So I encourage you practice it. Now you can see it's about 1, 2, 3 parking spaces. So if you don't have cones, you can still do U-turn practices just by going in the parking lot.
U-turns 27 feet, green ones are 18 feet. The key to these things is maintaining your good clutch friction point. You want to maintain the power. We're not doing U-turns coasting. We're not doing slingshot U-turns momentum. We're keeping power to the rear wheel. And here's Jeff. Just barely making it. Here's why. You gotta commit to the lean. You gotta commit to the turn right away. Watch Lori commit. So I did throw in some real world moves here. I thought I would give this a try. This is just on a solo ride. Lori was out of town, into a gas station. And the pump I was after was closed, busy gas station. Got a hook, a nice tight U-turn, and placed that bike right at the pump, no foot down. That's why we practice the U-turns. Why would we ever need to practice the U-turns? That's one reason why. A couple more coming up. Turn those handlebars, commit to the lean. It's the turning of the handlebars, for me personally, that needs some improvement, and I've been really focusing on that. So we get up to the edge, pull those handlebars over. Head and eyes always goes first. Like peas and carrots, head and eyes, then handlebars.
That was good, Jeff.
A little more speed.
See, here's another great example. Paul is an outstanding leaner, turner, curve rider, but he's not practiced it. Slow speed. Here's a reason to use this exercise: parking, right? So it's a simple half a U-turn. We're hooking into a parking spot and then we're backing into it. Now Lori's got my brother coming in on the left. You remember Scott from practice session 72, I think, his Blaze Orange Road Glide, 73, I think it was. Really, really good.
He's got a little more speed.
So Jeff's getting it. What he got to do is he's got to turn his handlebars right away, and he's getting better at it. Straight up the line. Okay, Lori's going to do a stopper. Turn the handlebars. Get it down. So that's really good. So here's one real world move. Lori and I are up in Lake Placid. We're just working our way out of Lake Placid, and the road was blocked off. So there's no going forward. There's no looking for a better option to take a right in some parking lot and turn around. Gotta nail the U-turn. Gotta be able to rip the U-turn. Not super aggressive there. We had to have 27 feet or more, would be my guess. But if you're not practicing it, that might be uncomfortable. We didn't have to really get down on a lean or do anything about speed, but we made a nice quality U-turn with no risk and got out of there. Head and eyes first, like cocaine and waffles. Head and eyes and handlebars. Paul's dying to get an 18 here. He's not putting it together. If he had a little more speed and he would counter sit, but I'm sure he could do a crazy tight U-turn. Rich got to work on head and eyes. Rich is just, again, it's a committing to the lean kind of a thing. I feel it. I feel that too. See, I'm not committing to the lean. My handlebars are going, but I'm not really starting with the lean, and that's why I'm rubbing up on those 18-foot cones. First world problems, right? 18-foot U-turns. So the bike should be leaning, yep. So the bike leans right away. Here come the handlebars.
The only thing is you slowed down toward the end. You had good speed. So just think about that again. That was really good. Nice and smooth.
Yeah. So Paul's doing a little bit standing up. He'll bring it around. Here comes Jeff. See, he started way too late. His handlebars are turning way too slowly. So there he goes. Down goes Fraser. If you didn't see practice session 73, you'll see Jeff do that 14 times and keep going. It was a really incredible display of persistence. Okay, here's Paul. Yep. Got to get his head and eyes around, and that bike will come right around. He's got the clutch control, man. You just got to bring it around. That's a solid 24-foot U-turn. That's all you'll ever need in the real world. Also, we don't. Oh, geez, was that about a 10-foot U-turn? We don't ever really practice in the rain, but we do want to think about being okay with these maneuvers in inclement weather. So we've had some experiences on our riding when it is pouring rain, and you still have to do what you have to do. I mean, the last thing you want to do is be walking your bike around because you can't do a U-turn in the pouring rain where you really don't know what your footing is. You don't know if you're going to step in a pothole or step on something. Water everywhere. We were in Texas this summer and it started to hail. So we were, got some shelter under a gas station roof, sat there until the hail passed, but then it was still raining like crazy. Having to do something as simple as changing lanes becomes difficult because you can't see anything. But then when it comes to straight up and down right turns at intersections, avoiding traffic, avoiding things on the road, you still need to be able to do that, like exercise 5, the single serpentine. So it's nice because it's Florida and it's typically warm and sunny, but we really want to be good at working on practicing like this in inclement weather. And I'm sorry, saying that we practice while we're riding around just isn't it. It's just not it. So there it is. So there I got the bike leaned down at the beginning of the turn. Right at the beginning, I'm gonna lean that thing. Get it in, get those handlebars turned. See, straight up and down. Yep. If he just got into that lean right away, he'd bring that thing around no problem. Yeah, so that's solid 19-foot U-turn. If Paul just snapped it faster at the beginning, he'd bring it around.
Oh, clutch. Yeah.
Honestly, I think that was about it for Jeff's drops. I think he only dropped it once, maybe a couple times. What more is there to say about U-turns? Clutch friction point. It's not momentum, right? So clutch friction point, little bit of rear brake drag if you need it. You got to commit to that lean. Counter sit. Counter sitting is the biggest deal, you guys. I had a heck of a time figuring that out. I didn't know that. So when you're really trying to do a tighter U-turn, it's important that you get your at least your head and shoulders over to the right. I like to get my butt over to the right if I can. There's Paul just almost getting an 18. So it doesn't feel like the bike is going to be needing to swoop. Like here's Jeff, waited way too long to start that turn. Get it? So now he's in the edge. He needs to go straight along the cones to the right, head and eyes first in handlebars, like pickles and cottage cheese. Head and eyes in handlebars. Awesome, pickles and cottage cheese. If you've not tried it, go together. Dill pickles, of course, not sweet pickles. That'd be gross. Here we go.
Yeah, just let Paul
see it. Yep.
Just as we always say, head and eyes, handlebars. Just a little bit more of that here on the figure 8. So it's head and eyes, handlebars, hold it, hold it, hold it. Right? Hold it, hold it, hold it. Transition. You got to get the bike going in that straight line, then hold the transition. So Lori's going for 2 parking spaces wide because that's an up level. We're working on that. Encourage any newer people to just use all of the space. Like when we get Jeff in here, he's got to use every bit of the space. We've been doing it a while, so we want to keep it challenging, and we want to make sure that we're up leveling. It's just fun things to do on a motorcycle. And now Lori is at a point where most of what she does here now on these things is brakeless. There she's brakeless, I believe. Here comes Rich on his fat boy. Rich, for one single time, I can't guess how miss I can. I'm going to guess here in a minute how many practice sessions he's attended. 30, I'll bet. Maybe 40. In all of those practice sessions, he's dropped his bike one time. And after that one time, he put his crash bars or engine guards on his bike. And there are these mustache bars. See that? They're called mustache bars, where they come out like low and straight. And they're pretty low, right? So the ground clearance is not much more than him touching his boards off. So it becomes, it saves the bike from damage, but it really does kind of constrict his, his leaning ability. Because if he bounces those engine guards off the pavement, then, odds are the bike's going to go down. So look at the new guy as we're kind of, if we have new people learning how to do this thing, look at how Paul's doing it. A guy that's never done it before. Naturally, he's counter sitting. See how his shoulders, now it's off to the right? He has superior clutch control, so he's just doing it basically straight up and down.
Nice ball.
If he got clear that he could lean and really got down on the lean, a little more speed, right? Because you can't really lean. There needs to be a commensurate amount of speed in order for the lean to make sense, for it to work from a physics perspective, right? Too much lean and not enough speed, and the bike's just going to fall. Like it's on 2 wheels. That's all.
That's awesome. Looks great.
But he's doing, he is following the path with just superior clutch control.
Yeah, no, that was great. That's such good clutch control.
I knew you'd be awesome at this.
Now here's Will on Lori's Road King. Look at this kid.
And then stay inside on the right. And then take a huge left.
He needs a Road King, this guy.
Sort of moving. I think you're gonna feel better.
We're so proud of Will.
Way inside the 2. I'm telling you, that's not easy to do. Like, skilled riders are looked to be able to do these in 2 parking spots wide. So, 18, he's doing successive 18-foot U-turns. Really, really great.
So we should be doing what Robert challenges the people to do is inside of 2, which you could do no problem. You did it great. But I can't always.
Here's Fred. Fred's working it around. I'm really not there yet with the no brake. I'm light brake, really light brake, but not quite there yet with no brake. So I got some catching up to do. Fred's a bigger dude. I can and will be practicing the no brake going forward. Looks okay. Trying to do a stop and go there. not really my thing. But it is an up level that Robert asks us to do when we're at practice sessions, so we want to kind of learn how to do that. So now I'm practicing my fancy exit. I think that's coming up. Oh, you watch. That's going to happen. That's going to be in the Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle practice session number 121.
If you just went faster, it'd be easier.
Yeah. He's just not used to it. I think if he practiced a lot, he would go faster.
See, Paul's getting a little more speed. Give him another day to do this. He'd be killing it. There, he's getting it down a little bit.
This is the first time he's done this. This is amazing.
It's funny, this is an exercise that there's no real world move for, other than every real world move that you do around a U-turn or a need to maneuver your motorcycle. It's just a more advanced technique to get used to transitioning. Really, the transition is the key. Yeah, you got to lean it, of course, but it's from there.
He rides with his wife.
Okay, he wheels out. I was going to say from the like the left turn to the right turn, back to the left turn.
Lean at speed.
Really important to know how to do that.
Watch. He's going to go way wide on the left.
So Jeff's going to give it a try. We gave him the latitude to go real wide and try to bring it through, and still do the line, right? Do the motion that he's supposed to
I
do.
want him to go really wide. I want him to get the movement first.
I've said it many times during this practice session narration, but he was just standing on that rear brake and had a heck of a time. So his clutch was too open for anyone kind of looking to learn how to do this better. His clutch was too open, meaning it was too far into the friction zone. The result was the bike with too much power pulling him forward, right? Making him go too fast for the turns he's looking to do. So in order to counteract that, he would just put a lot of rear brake pressure on. In fact, so much rear brake pressure that it would stop him. He would just stop and fall down and just drop the bike. As soon as the bike started coming to a stop because he had too much brake, he would pull the clutch in and then forget it. And then it's going down like a sack of hot nickels. Oh, speaking of that,
I wasn't even watching. What happened?
that's just the damnedest thing. So now here's the big fella on Jeff's bike. This is what Mike looks like on a stock Ultra Classic. A little bit like a circus bear. 6'9", piled into a bike that's I think spec'd for 5'7" or 5'8". I think that's Harley. Puts their riding position to be the perfect position for a guy that's 5'7" or 5'8". So, give or take a foot, fits me fine. But nothing wrong with the brakes, nothing wrong with the clutch. Now here's Will taking. Look at this first turn on Jeff's bike. Look at that. Beautiful. Second one, a little too deep. Yep, hard parts. For a second, I thought it was on his leg, but he wasn't screaming, so. What's interesting about exercise 8 is it comes after exercise 7 and before exercise 9. Hey, here's some video on the tail of the dragon. So this is us on the tail of the dragon this summer, I guess, and yeah, it was earlier this spring. Now, how do you connect offset double serpentine to tail of the dragon? I connect it like you have to be comfortable leaning the bike and changing directions on the bike. This video of the tail of the dragon is like the first 6 minutes from Deal's Gap heading toward Tennessee. It doesn't take a lot longer than that, whatever that is, 14 miles or 13 miles, something like that. Anyway, in that there are a number of like really tight turns. People love this road. I don't love it. But when you get into one of these really sharp turns, you're shifting down. You're getting into first and second gear, and you really got to get good with turning the handlebars, leaning that bike, and getting around. You don't lean the bike on the tail of the Dragon, and you're gonna, you could do it, but you'd be going about 5 miles an hour the whole way. So I just thought I would show that as an example of how this exercise helps us build skills to be able to ride our motorcycles more effectively in the real world. So here's Paul, and we're trying to explain to him, here's the thing, you guys, anyone who's watching this exercise, there's some psychological phenomenon to this exercise where everybody, and it doesn't matter what you say to them, they go through the gate and they go straight to the next gate. Everyone, like, it's the craziest thing. Like, I told Paul that. I said, everyone does it, don't do it, don't go straight to the gate. He went straight to the gate. Now, he's so good, and he's so good at listening that he corrected it even just on the way back. See, now he's bringing it back. So you're going to see him hold it. It's a little bit wide here, but hold it. There, he's holding it. Now he goes through the gate, right? So really tight, but he still needs to hold that a little more. You want to go through the gate, straight through the gate, right? You want to go straight through the gate, even a little bit maybe angling toward the next gate. But head and eyes, then handlebars. Head and eyes and handlebars, like Chinese food and chocolate pudding, they just go together. The head and eyes has to go first, though. All right. So here's Lori trying an up level on this. Here, given what I just said, I realized what I just said. But the up level is to actually go to the next gate, straight to the next gate, because when you do that, you really got to bear down on the turn. You really got to do a nice tight U-turn, get those head and eyes around, and go straight to the next gate. So the more rounded, the more S-curve approach to this exercise is more of a fluid motion exercise, right? You're transitioning the bike to the right, transitioning to the left, nice and smooth, everything's smooth. This is also supposed to be smooth, but when you go straight to the gate, it's a more of a slightly radical movement, whereas it's not as even and smooth as S turns as the original way to do it. So Lori pulls it off masterfully as usual as we continue to follow along on the overhead camera with Lori through the tail of the Dragon.
I keep getting stuck in the turn.
So he's doing the advance straight to the gate.
Here's Paul wanting to do it again.
He's doing the
There's a personality type that just, it makes him crazy to not be awesome at stuff, and Paul's one of them. Lori's one of them. Luckily, I'm not one of them, so I'm like subpar at everything, and Lori's awesome at everything. It makes us a good couple, so we're even. I even us out. So yeah, again, here we are again with the no leaning. Like he could really lean that thing and crush these S curves. Here's also what's there for Paul. He's got that cam, but he, I guess, understandably, he's deathly afraid to drop that bike. Like he has engine guards that come stock on that bike, but he didn't want to scratch them. Like that's like carpeted floor mats in a car. Like you don't want to get them dirty, so why even have them? Like the reason they exist is to stop the bike in that event. But I'm not saying it's flawed logic. I get it. It's an unbelievably gorgeous bike, and he has a lot of money into it. But he would just be capable, if he could take it 50% more, he'd still be well within the parameters of the lean angle, and he would crush it. So I have no doubt that if it's not this winter or spring, it'll be next winter. Paul will be back, and he'll want to master these things, these exercises. Tail of the Dragon. We got the 360 on the overhead. A little bit tough to fit it correctly in the little circle we have at the top, but it's a good little visual.
So you're braking it, doing a little slower.
Lori's doing the straight to the gate bit again.
I get it. So the nose goes a little bit beyond the
She may be doing no brake.
otherwise.
Oh, really good.
I'm trying to accelerate to the thing and then.
Practice makes perfect. She's the Mary Poppins of a life, practically perfect in every way.
See that? I locked up.
Yep, that was the anti-lock braking.
What happened there?
That was good to
I lost her way on the U-turn. And you also see Jeff in the background working with Will, or Will working with Jeff on just the basics of circles and leaning that bike. There's Fred. My loyal steed, Fred. Trying to make it happen. Less clutch, less brake, just trying to be smooth on the bike. I don't, honestly, I think on the way back I do straight to the gate, maybe not. But I want to do a nice tight U-turn there. Really working towards no brake. I really like to, very little brake pressure into no brake. The brake is not essential. It's not essential to any of these exercises, any of these practices. You just have it available to you if you need to trim a little speed. So just sometimes a light drag on the rear brake will slow you down just enough where you can turn the handlebars and get to maybe a turn or an angle that you want to get. Oh, there I'm trying to do straight to the gate. I'm telling you, it's a hard habit to break because we've been doing this for so long, and it's like so ingrained to hold it. I hold it. I'm still holding it. Trying not to. That one was a little better, but then I hold it again. It's just funny. Yeah, super weird. Crushing the cones.
Get it over.
So what I need to do is wait longer to turn so that some Fred's butt can get around the that cone. I'm a little bit inside of it, so that's carrying me forward. So I need to wait a little longer and really dive into that turn. Exercise 9, the Abominable Snowman, which is recently, we got the memo, has been changed to the Abominable Snow Person because we have to be gender neutral always. So we have to make sure that we're representing everyone. And Rich is leading us off. Exercise or practice session 75. Rich is almost there, but his wheel placement is not right there yet. It's the wheel placement and the lean angle. He's just, I don't know what it is. The figure 8, he will lean that bike as far as it'll go. Just turning around, going to a different exercise, you'll just hear him dragging those boards all across this parking lot. But when it comes to leaning here, it's got to be the speediest because it's so slow. It is harder to lean a bike when you're going so slow. You got to make sure that you have a proper speed and proper power to the rear wheel. That clutch has to be just ready to go and pull you up out of there. So right here, I think he almost gets it. He leaves a little, but just... Oh, God. I hope, Rich, I hope you're watching that because you're so close getting that front tire. Just get it closer to the cones, man. It's no big deal. We're not making too big of a deal out of it. I know Rich doesn't really care. He just likes to come out and have fun with us, and you just want to see him get it. That's all. All in the practice of all of the motorcycle riders in Indian River County, or even in our general area. There's about 4 or 5 that will show up consistently and work on their skills, which I think is particularly tragic. It doesn't mean anything to us. We're not, we're not charging for these practice sessions. So we just want people to be safe. We want people to be good, and we want to have fun, right? We want to make friends and have fun with other like-minded people who enjoy the sport of motorcycling and would like to improve their skills. Here's Lori about to do something fantastic and amazing. Right through the wheel placement. So good wheel placement, so good. Should probably do multiple circles here.
Good. Nice and clean. That's 3. Beautiful.
Yep, really good.
You might
Probably need some new tires on Pepper, the Road King. It seems that we have a little bit of a problem with harder braking in turns where the tires are skidding out and letting go a little bit. So methinks it's the tires are too hard of a compound. We're going to work that out. Get some soft Metzlers or something in there that won't do that as much.
That looks good. Good placement.
Rights and lefts don't seem to make a difference for Lori.
Everything looks good. Clean. Yep. That's 3.
That's tough.
Beautiful. First try.
Did I hit the column? I thought I hit the column.
If you did, it's like nick the corner of it. I'd have to check the replay, but it looked good to me.
Here we go, Paul. Again, what we have is, we're slow. So here's a little bit of a lean, but he's, a little more speed. He's getting the wheel placement. So you can see him looking down like, am I at the cones?
All looks good.
So smart, this guy, right? You tell it to him, and he'll do it. But what's in the way here is,
That's about right. That's about what you'd expect.
there's just a technique to doing that, and it took me forever to do it. And I think it was driving him a little nuts that he wasn't able to drill it out first time. But it's placement, hug 'em, commit. Now he's like, screw these other circles. I'm staying in the 18. I'm gonna get this thing. But it's without the speed he needs, he's not gonna make it. He needs more speed and more lean. But he gives it a couple of good old college tries. Like right there, he needs to commit, right? And he even said, I'm not leaning it enough as much as I need to bring it around.
He's so good at control. He's just creeping it and just about making it.
Yeah.
There he goes. Really good placement. Right there at the center point. We call it 12 o'clock at the midpoint. He's just got to dip it a little more, give it a little kick in the butt, and bring it around. Not big power, not a big launch, but when you're leaning it like that, you need to have ample, sufficient power to the rear wheel to carry you through. Your head and eyes are going to the gate. Like head and eyes first, then handlebars, like peanut butter and green beans. Right now, right around, head and eyes, yep. Almost. Yeah, look at that, really close, just not quite there.
So close that time.
It is kind of risky, man. You gotta hang it out there. I get nervous doing it as well.
He so trusts and believes he wouldn't.
There's a
work
good
like
lean.
That he can just let the clutch out and maintain control of the motorcycle.
Right.
He's dipping it a little better here. Oh, something happened. So he tries to change the right. Yeah, it's way off. He started it way too early. not hugging him.
If he practiced, though, he would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. A couple practice sessions, he did it for sure.
All right, Will's going to give it a run. He does a nice little change of direction here. I think he's welcoming the challenge. He was like, oh, there's something more I can do to make it harder. That bike's so nimble, it's not even a challenge for him.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, that's the level up. That's tough. Well, I mean, for most people. Yeah.
Bob, you know what? He's not ready yet to take Lori's bike through this. I have no doubt that based on what he can do in the figure eights, that he could drill out the top of the Snowman. I think I'm unsuccessful this first time through. Usually I'm pretty good with the lefts, but I don't know, man, it frustrates me. By now I should be better at this. Bring it around now. Lean it, bring it over. Yeah. So I was going to go for 3, and it just was not feeling good.
Is that clear?
It takes some real dexterity to hold that through 3. So I'm holding it, then I'm just not committing, and I'm catching that last one. I mean, I need to acknowledge where the problem is, and it's right at the top. Pretty close, pretty good, but you want to just get the clean ones, that's for sure. Leaving a little bit at the top, and that's just hurting me at that last cone. Now I'm in the headspace where I'm starting to get mad, and I really got to just stay smooth and stay calm, and just bring it around. There you go. I get mad and start to throw it down. I end up hitting hard parts. Things get weird.
That looks so hard. I'll try just to try it. I'm not sure I'm gonna.
So I think I just take a look at how to change directions here. I gotta really, if I dipped it a little more right there, damn it. If I just dipped it a little bit, I'll work on that. Never surrender. What is it? Never give up. Never surrender. That's what Jeff's doing. Never give up. He's doing the circles. I'm telling you, he's got it now, man. Wait till you see. Wait till you see 70, whatever, 77 or 78.
All right, so this is Paul and his beautiful bike. And he went through all the exercises as you saw. This is the first time he's even seen some of these exercises and actually tried them. So for somebody who's brand new to the exercises, not a brand new rider, what did you think?
I thought it was very cool, technical, challenging, and I think it's really awesome what you guys do here.
And do you think, I think, with seeing how you did on the first try, if you practiced with us every week, you'd be masterful at all this.
Oh, yeah. Practice makes perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Or practice gives you confidence.
Yeah.
It does, because you have more confidence when you do these things.
Oh, yeah.
And also, maybe next time he'll bring his wife Julie and do it with her on the back, because that's how he's used to riding.
Yeah. Might be easier.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, so we're finished with practice session 75. And of course, Paul did amazing because we knew he was going to do amazing. And Jeff made some progress. Lots of drops though. Will had a good drop. And we tried a couple of the new things that Robert's doing at his practice sessions, which is on exercise 8, the offset double serpentine. He has people try to go straight to the cone and do a tight U-turn and then go straight to the cone. So because we're so practiced on holding the turns, it was a little bit difficult to get used to that. And also, we did try the changing direction on the Snowman at the top of the circle, which is super hard to do. And Mike said I got it, but I'm not sure I didn't hit the green cone on the way in. So we got to practice on that more, and we will be working with Jeff fastidiously till he can do these exercises. So when we come up to the Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle practice session at the Space Coast on March 1st and 2nd, that he can do these exercises. So that's what we're shooting for. You guys put in the comments which exercises you like the best, which ones you're working on, and if you're able to level any of them up. I love the conversation in the comments, so keep them going, and we'll see you next time.